No, Joe, I don't fucking like music. Makes me sick. Makes me goddamn sick.
Well, so listening to the stuff that you do listen to, I know uh, that you're used to listening to people from or stuff from people that have mental deficiencies, we would say.
I don't know if I would say mental deficiencies, maybe mental health issues.
Yeah. Well, Tom, the documentary we watched this week was Wesley Willis, the daddy of rock and roll. And you were not familiar with this chap, were you, Tom?
No, and spoiler alert, after watching this documentary, I wasn't very familiar with the guy either, so I spent like 2 hours looking at other videos so I can find out who this fucking dude was.
Mm. Uh, I don't know. This is a 1 hour documentary. It's on YouTube if you guys want to watch, or you can pay to watch it other places. But why the fuck would you do that? Uh, and it is a true documentary for the most part because a lot of it they just follow him around. You know, they're documenting it, and later in the film they start talking to other people that know him, and they tell you that. For those of you that don't know,
Hold on, instead of true documentary, because that's a weird way of putting it, more or less, this is a day in the life of
yeah,
documentary.
and which a lot of documentaries are trying to get you to like something, you know, or take a certain view on something. Uh, yeah, for those of you that don't know, this guy is a guy with schizophrenia. Who knows what the fuck else? And uh, I guess he copes with that, or his outlet for shit is drawing and writing and performing songs. Now, the thing is, his songs, they are all the same. If you've heard one of his songs, you've heard them all. You know,
So when Joe says his songs are all the same, they're not all the same, but the way he writes, it's the same structure because that's the only song structure that he knows how to write.
yeah. Um, and well, that's what he does, and that's all it's about. You know, is him going around selling his CDs to record stores. You know, performing a little, writing some songs, going to Kinkos to use their computers to type out their songs, and
And there was a shot, I guess, in Kinko's where it hit me. It was just like, all right, what the fuck is this supposed to be? Like, up until this point, I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? Is this just a guy with fucking mental problems or what the fuck's going on here? And then they're just like, all right, get a shot of his fucking bare feet. Hurry up, get a shot of his. What? All right, and now I don't know what the fuck we're doing here, guys, and you kind of lost me.
okay, and then
I mean, that was it. It was just like,
I just don't
all
know
right, is this
track with it or not.
because it's just like, all right, we're just showing you in the fucking like this guy's like, oh look, he has his feet off. What's he doing? Oh, that's fucking weird, right? Look at him. He has his fucking shoes off in this business. It's like we didn't need that. That's like, hey, look, this is something to laugh at this guy at.
Well, you can
That's when I felt like, is this an exploitive thing or what are we doing?
it that way. I think these guys, yeah, they were having fun while they were doing it, while they were filming it, and they were laughing at a lot of shit. But I think they were actually fans of the guy. You know, I think they actually liked his music. I mean that's what that came off of. I don't think the more you watch it, the movie's not making fun of him. You know, it's just showing you, hey, here's this guy that has these issues. You know, that's like and he's found ways to express himself. You know, it's like, oh shit, if he feels himself losing it, you know, he's telling everybody, hey, I'm about to go on a hell ride, you know, and it's just like, you know, when he says that, he's real serious about it. And he's trying to communicate to other people, like, hey, you know, it's like uh, something needs to change like right away so I don't lose my shit. You know, and he's his songs, as silly as they are, I don't know that I'd say he's passionate about them, but he's fucking using it to express something. I don't know what, because his mind works different than ours, and I don't know. I didn't find it making fun of him really at all. I mean, I think you just want to see that, Tom. I don't know what's wrong with you.
No, that was just the one thing that stood out in the documentary. Is just like, why is this here? Nothing else like this is in here, so why is this shot? It just came off as weird. Like, you can s we'll get into it later because this documentary really doesn't say shit about the guy's life. It doesn't say like, "Oh, no, he actually did go on tour, and it's just not something a crazy person's saying." No, he went on tour, Rick Rubin signed him, he made a music video with Alanis Morissette, he was on MTV, but this documentary doesn't really say that. It's just like, "Hey, look at this odd guy with mental problems,"
Well,
and
see, I think a lot of the things that followed, those big things, I think part of that was making fun of him more so than this was.
I mean, sure, and we can get into that, but, like, is it exploiting a guy or is it letting him live his dream?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't answer that. He did pass away shortly after this was made. I think maybe 4 or 5 months afterwards, uh, or after it was released, I should say. I don't know when it was released and when they filmed it or whatever. Yeah, but he did do a lot of shit. Like I didn't hear of him or hear his music until like a buddy of mine had his greatest hits album. And that was a big thing. That was produced by in the studio, not just like a little attic studio like where you see him in this thing working. So I don't know how far back some of this footage was taken.
Yeah, as for this documentary, I mean, it didn't really do shit for me except confuse me to the point that I had to go look at other videos to find out who this dude was. His music isn't for me. It is punk rock for sure, but, there's 2 kinds of punk rock. There's, like, the pop, skate punk kind of fucking punk rock shit, and then there's, like, the DIY, say what you want about it, punk rock. It's for some people, it's not for others. That's definitely what this guy falls into, the just, "Hey, I'm doing my own thing. This is what I like. Suck it." Not not for me. God bless him for doing his shit and getting it out there and some people liking it, but, it reminds me of, like, Blowfly and King Gordy, but without any of the elements that would attract me to listening to that music, if I can't think of a nicer way to say this.
I dig his stuff. I honestly can't listen to more than 3 of his songs at a time because, like Tom said, they're all structured the same. They all have the same. He he talks. He's reciting lyrics. He's
He has a very specific speech pattern
right,
where
and
he talks like this.
then the chorus is the same line. 4 times in a row. Done in 2 different intonations. Uh, but yeah, I dig it. Vampire Bat is probably my favorite song that he did. I rock that one every Halloween. And yeah, God bless you, Wesley, for doing what you did. For not letting your disability hold you back. And yeah,
Yeah, the documentary, if you don't know who the fuck this dude is, you won't know who the fuck this dude is after the documentary. You'll just think he's a fucking nut and what?
yeah,
Oh, he really did go on tour and
yeah.
okay, what happened?
I can see you seeing it that way because I already knew about him. So yeah, yeah. It is very brief and like we said, it's more documenting him and the people that do talk about him, they don't really reveal a whole lot about him.
Yeah, it's they just they don't it doesn't say much. Like I said, it's just a day in the life of for people who like the guy and know of him already.
Halloween, and there's some scenes at the end where they show him with like a bar full of people that are there, singing along and you know just happy to see him play or whatever.
So I went out and there was like a 20-minute MTV interview. Like, I guess Rick Rubin just signed him, and he was at South by Southwest. So good old Tabitha Soren. You remember that name, Joe?
Remember Tava this one? She was the redhead one, right?
She was. So she's interviewing him, and then there was another thing I watched, like Henry Rollins was talking about the fucking guy. Um, there was like maybe a 20-30 minute documentary of just his art where he was drawn sitting down in the middle of Chicago doing his fucking shit. Um, it's okay. It's stylized for sure. Like his cars, those were pretty good, and his I don't know if perspective's the right word, but just the dimensions and everything of how he drew it, it's like, well, that's pretty good, but it was all it is what it is, but I mean, there's definitely, uh, style and a skill there for sure, like, he had a way he was doing it and all that shit, and I definitely found his art more compelling than I did the music.
Yeah, there's only one section in this where they show a montage of his art, and yeah, they don't show him doing any of it, but yeah, he would sell his shit on the streets for like 20 bucks or whatever. So like one of these street guys you see all the time selling art and shit. So
Yep. I mean, that's just pretty much what it was, just him drawing and talking about it and just interacting with people on the street and all that shit. Um, I mean, he did what he did, liked what he did. It sucks that he had these fucking problems, but because he had these problems, he got a lot of things because of it.
yeah,
So exploitation, getting to do what he fucking wanted to, who knows?
yeah, probably
It's
wouldn't have fucking been able to make this kind of art and music without that kind of problem, disability, or whatever. Probably would have found excuses not to do that shit like most of us do. It's
yeah, like if he wasn't a diagnosed schizophrenic and a fucking weird dude, would we be talking about him right now?
yeah, yeah. There's
So,
another guy out of Austin, I guess, Daniel Webster, and he wrote songs too, and he did art too, kind of like the same thing, but he's white, so more people like him. But I don't like any of that guy's shit, and he just did like comic book drawings or paintings that are awful, but they sell for like big money now. you know. And he did the same thing. He would sell his tapes on Sixth Street or whatever, so very similar. And I had thought about watching that one, but why? Since we got Wesley Willis, baby. You know,
yeah, I'm sure I've heard about this dude as a child because I would grew up in Chicagoland and listened to Mancow, and I guess this guy was on Mancow a bunch. In that Alanis Morissette video, he was wearing a Mancow shirt. Mancow's Howard Stern of Chicago, and then he turned into a political guy like most of these shock jocks did when that fucking dried up. So, um, yeah, as for this specific documentary, The Daddy of Rock and Roll, it's gonna be no, it's not a very good documentary if I had to go out and do a fuck ton of research. However, if you know who this dude is, then yeah, I'm sure you'll dig it and be like, all right, so how does he go about fucking pimping his shit?
uh, my suggestion to anybody that is not familiar with him, go and listen to some of his shit on Spotify. There's a lot of it on there, and then watch the documentary. It's just like get to to know his music a little first, and then you can see his process here of putting it together. Such as it is. I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but it is a process. You can see it like formulating in his head as he's writing some of this shit.
There's definitely a story to tell here. If somebody like took the time to make a well-made documentary, I'm sure it would be fucking very interesting and compelling. This just
Thanks for checking out the show. We hope you dug it, baby. If so, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and let us know down below. Support Tom and Joe by heading over to dwnproductions.net and fastcustomshirts.com. Until next time, Lord God.
was that Joe or the dog drinking the water? You'll never know.